good morning. It's Rachel, Tamika, and Joseph here, and today we're going to be talking about science as a human endeavour. Specifically, we'll be sharing our goals for and an overview of how science as a human endeavour can be incorporated into our Year 4 science unit, Beneath Our Feet. In this unit, students investigate the natural process of erosion, how human actions affect this process, and what we can do to minimise these effects. As such, the relevant SHE content description is science knowledge helps people to understand the effect of their actions, and a particular focus on the elaboration of considering how to minimize the effects of erosion caused by human activity.
The Australian science curriculum has three interrelated strands, which are science understanding, science as a human endeavour, and science inquiry skills. Together, these strands provide students with the understanding, knowledge, and skills through which they can develop a scientific view of the world. As such, to give our science as a human endeavour description context, our unit also addresses the science understanding content descriptor. Earth's surface changes over time as a result of natural processes and human activity.
Let's begin with what is science as a human endeavour. We'll first look at the definition of science and human endeavour. Science is a cumulative form of knowledge built upon by each generation to be more precise, accurate, and comprehensive. It is ever-changing. Human endeavour is concerned with striving to achieve something of significance. Thus, science as a human endeavour explores how scientific knowledge has developed over time through the contributions of many people around the world. Science as a human endeavour utilises the influence of science by highlighting how science affects us and the decisions that are made in society.
As a collective group, we have developed a shared SHE philosophy. Our philosophy believes that as a human endeavour, science education seeks to empower people to change the world by appreciating the benefits of keeping themselves, their family, their community, and their natural environment healthy. Science as a human endeavour education contributes to improved decision making through reflection based and social cultural grounded teaching and learning. We believe as future teachers, our SHE philosophy should include teaching and informing students how their actions affect the natural world and ways to minimize the effect. In the current era of the Anthropocene, we have a more pressing responsibility than ever before to foster the 21st century skills and values that will lead to inclusive and sustainable growth and peaceful living.
With this being said, from our philosophy, we as future educators have developed three goals that we wish to incorporate into our teaching. These goals also relate to the curriculum in several ways. Goal 1, teach students about science and its applications and how they affect our everyday lives and choices and contexts that are relevant. This goal encourages students, as said by the Australian curriculum, to make informed, evidence-based decisions about current and future applications of science. Goal 2, use the SDGs to help our students understand that individual actions can make a big difference. The Sustainable Development Goals encourage education for sustainability, which develops the knowledge, skills, values, and world views necessary for people to act in ways that contribute to more sustainable patterns of living. Goal 3 fosters students' natural curiosity about the world and encourages them to feel proud of living a lifelong learning journey. These goals relate to the science curriculum as it aims to foster interest in science by expanding their curiosity and willingness to ask questions and explore the world in which they live.
The unit plan that our group has chosen is Beneath Our Feet. This unit is structured using the 5 E's model and links science and literacy in the classroom. The unit provides students with hands-on opportunities to develop understanding of science concepts such as soils, rocks and landscapes, while exploring how natural processes and human activity affect and shape their surroundings.
This unit plan was developed based on the content descriptor ACSSU075. Despite this, the unit plan also targets many other substrands throughout the number of lessons. This included our chosen SHE content descriptor of ACSHE062, which is evident in lessons 3 and 5. So here are some of our key learning intentions for lesson 3. Students will be able to identify the features that made their investigation a fair test, investigate a model of weathering of a rock in a stream, identify whether water weathers rocks, compare their results with others in the class, reflect on their investigation, discuss how humans can affect this process of weathering, and discuss how non-living parts of ecosystems, such as rocks, can affect us. So this here is the experiment for lesson 3, which is their model for erosion. So as you can see, they will fill jars with water that have a ball of dried clay sand in each jar. They shake the numbered jars for different periods of time, and then they observe what this does to their ball of dried clay sand. In lesson 5, students will be able to investigate what happens to models of landscape when water is poured over them, and discuss how water erosion shapes and impacts landscapes and can be influenced by human activity. And the diagram here is a model of how students will do this.
As a human endeavour, science education seeks to empower people to change the world by outlining the interconnectedness of human decisions and the influence of them on our natural world. Through acknowledgement of this link, students learn to appreciate the benefits of keeping themselves, their family, their community, and natural environments healthy. This is achieved through education that contributes to improved decision making, with practices that are reflection based and learning that is grounded to the locality to be relevant to the students. Overall, our goal as educators is to teach students in contexts that are relevant to them, to create a bridge for students between science knowledge and its application and how it affects their everyday lives. Armed with this knowledge, students can use these understandings to make informed choices.
In the Beneath Our Feet unit, students explore the natural world of soils, rocks and landscapes and examine how natural processes and human activities shape their surroundings. Embedding our philosophy of science as a human endeavour throughout the unit requires a strong emphasis on connecting concepts to the local community to encourage students' natural curiosity and foster the development of making connections between human decision making and the impacts of these decisions on the natural world. The Sustainable Development Goals can also be linked throughout the unit, with Goals 15, Life on Land, and Goal 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities, relevant to the unit.
This can be achieved throughout the unit as students are afforded the opportunity to investigate soils, rocks, and changes in landscapes caused by erosion over time through modelling activities. In each circumstance, the modelling activities, where possible, should be strongly influenced by the location of the school. During the exploring soils aspect of the unit, students are to collect soils for observation. In this instance, a school locality surrounded farmland should include the exploration of soils that serve different purposes, such as soils for growing grain, soils for growing vegetables, and soils for growing fruits. While a school with strong connections to the coastal area should investigate the soil at the beach compared to the soil at the river mouths. Both Goal 15 and 11 can be explicitly linked to the modelling activities, once again through relevant connection dependent on the location of the school. The same connection to the local area should be encouraged throughout the exploration of rocks, and connections should be explicitly made to how these rocks and soil formations influence the local landscape.
Lesson 5 models the influence of erosion on the natural landscape. Erosion is both a natural process and can be influenced by human activity. Once again, dependent on the locality of the school, a relevant modelling activity should take place. A school in a rural area where farming occurs should have the erosion activity modelled through the lens of floodplain harvesting and the effect it has on erosion on farmlands and in natural ecosystems due to lack or abundance of water. A coastal area can look at the influence of beach erosion, how man-made objects such as seaways, dredging, artificial reefs, and storm walls affect the flow of sand due to major weather events.
Through providing opportunities for students to connect the concepts they learn at school to the things they see and interact with on a daily basis, we embed our philosophy of SHE throughout the unit. Building connections is critical, not only for conceptual understanding, but also for realizing the nature of human decision making and the consequences for our natural world.
In summary, our philosophy is centered around the beliefs that as future educators, we should be teaching and informing students how science links to everyday life while highlighting how their actions affect the natural world and ways to minimize the effect. From our philosophy, three goals were derived. These were teach students about science and its applications and how they affect our everyday lives and choices in contexts that are relevant. Use the Sustainable Development Goals to help our students understand that individual actions can make a big difference. And foster students' natural curiosity about the world and encourage them to feel proud of living a lifelong learning journey.
Using these goals, we have proposed multiple strategies to embed and build upon the Science as a Human Endeavour content descriptor ACSHE062 in the Beneath Our Feet unit plan. This was done by providing opportunities for students to connect the concepts they learn at school to things they do and see in their normal daily lives, thus making science as a human endeavour more prevalent in students' thinking and learning.